Hey, hello, hello, hello. So today has been such an amazing day, and I don't want you to think I have forgotten about the 30-day challenge at all. I have not. Um, today was just so nice. So I took Rosie to the park for a little while. You may hear her bark in the background because she's still all fired up. And I just wanted to enjoy some of the days. So these are the days in New Jersey that I really, really enjoy, right? Because during the winter months, you can start to get so just depressed and because it's always cold in states like New Jersey. So in the northern states it's always cold, and when the weather breaks, it's just amazing, like all the things that you can do. So it's always nice to get out, and we need to get out sometime, right? But I didn't forget about you, of course. Today is day 6 of our 30-day challenge, and today what I want to talk about is, and I'm just going to briefly, I know we've been talking a lot about burnout and why this is important, because remember, we're going to talk about burnout to wealth building. So why this is important is because I want you to get an understanding of where I came from and have a good understanding about what you may be going through. So if you're going through burnout, I don't want you to feel that you'll never be able to get to a place where you can be your own boss, or you can make, 6 figures, or even scale to 7 figures. You can go from burnout to wealth building. And that's why this 30-day challenge is all about that. And that's why I talk so much about burnout. And in particularly, one thing that I want to make sure that I highlight tonight is I want to talk about the unusual signs that a lot of people don't look for when it comes to burnout, because with everything going on in these industries, and I keep being reminded that like everyone's burned out. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he goes like everyone's burned out, and I keep hearing that repeatedly, and that's why I'm really stressing the signs, because sometimes we overlook the signs. And one of the signs that I want to definitely make sure that I mention, or three thought signs I want to make sure that I mention, because sometimes we can lose these and not catch on to them. And one sign is compassion fatigue. So, and I'm going to speak from a nursing experience, right? So, as a nurse, excuse me, we may start to really lose that emotional connection with our patients. Or even you might even start to lose that emotional connection with your family. It can be your husband, it can be your children. You can get to a point where you don't have room for anyone else's feelings or emotions, and you just really start to lose that compassion. And that can look like a feelings of apathy or cynicism. And I think I mentioned that before. Or just feeling the senses of being overwhelmed, right? And a patient can be suffering, and a nurse who once provided comfort and support may just feel so detached. That's a sign of burnout. And I want to use, because people like to cover it up, or people like to give burnout make it a stigma almost, or make it a sign of weakness, and it's really not. If we don't understand what we're going through, or we don't identify it early, then we can't do anything about it. Another thing that you might experience is cognitive dysfunction. And you're probably like, what? Like, yeah. If you start to experience any type of sometimes what we call it brain fog can be a sign of burnout. I can remember, and even me, just starting to forget things. I can remember starting to forget things, and I'm one of those type A personalities. And I would have to have spreadsheets for this. I had PowerPoints for this. I had follow-ups. I looked at stats. I mean, and when you get into entrepreneurship, you become a little more flexible, and we'll talk about that down the line. But you do become a little more flexible as you get into entrepreneurship. But in leadership, and well, I'm still a leader, right? My businesses, but in the traditional setting, I should say, in the traditional setting, I'm very, 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 type A. But I that was a learned behavior, and I was finding that I was forgetting things, and I was forgetting things because I wasn't able to concentrate. um I would, and I was making, I want to say, errors, but it was more maybe errors in judgment, right? But not necessarily my work, but still it can affect people differently. And So it's something that you want to definitely consider. Again, the brain fog is huge, and I don't think people think they feel, if people consider that. Or you can have physical symptoms. Physical symptoms can mimic illness. Now, if you start to find yourself having headaches, or even GI issues, right? You start having, loose bowels, or chest pain. Right now, chest pain is a big one. I remember I was at an event, and the young lady was discussing how she was experiencing. She was going to work every day, and she was getting to a certain point where, it was the same stop sign every day, and I'm paraphrasing. It was a stoplight wherever she was. Like every day, it was in the same spot on her way to work, and she would get these feelings of. I'm sorry, guys, the glare. She would get these feelings of just like her chest would start hurting. And as nurses, what do? We would, do some deep breathing, and it would go away, and she just went on ahead to work, right? But that's what we do as nurses. We keep going. We go and get our coffee, and we go about our business. But she was experiencing signs of burnout. It was signs, it was her body telling her like, you don't need to be in this situation. So I say all these things to say that when you can recognize what's wrong, you can do something about it. And if anytime anything is affecting your health, your mental health, your physical health, your mind, your body, your spirit, you have to start asking yourself, is this the place that I need to be, right? What can I do differently, and what can I do about it? And with so many uncertainties, with everything going on, whether it's what's going on in the government, distraction, let me just say, whether it's going on in your environment, whether you're in a toxic work environment, with so many things going on. This is why I stress the Health and Wealth Expo live summit, because, we were challenged. I was on a committee meeting last weekend, and we were challenged. It wasn't really a challenging question, but it was a challenge, right, for the group. I mean, I know what I'm doing, right, but we were challenged with, okay, we see what's going on with, diversity, equity, inclusion, for example. But what are we doing about it? Like, what are organizations doing about it? Like, what are we doing about it? So one of the things that I'm doing about it with my team and with my committees, we are hosting the Health and Wealth Expo, right? Live summit. And that way you can go from burnout to breakthrough. And in that way, because what we're going to be teaching you is, more than empowerment, more than inspiration, more than education. We're going to be giving you tools and strategies, actionable strategies, so that you can take the next step in your career, whatever that looks like. Whether you want to start a business, whether you want to, just advance in your career, but you have the steps that you need to take. And this is, a huge part of this 30-day challenge. It gives us time to really talk. It gives us time to really break down what you're experiencing, where to go, where you're coming from, and where you're going. So we're getting to that wealth building stage. This is right now, it's just foundational things that we're talking about here. So I just wanted to come on, I got to go and, get myself, I might want to go, enjoy some of this night air, over here in New Jersey, because it just feels so good. It's so good. So for those of you who are in California or in other states where it's nice all year round, well, in New Jersey, it's not nice all year round. I feel like this was the first day where it was something like 80 degrees out, and I'm just loving every minute of it. It's like it's like, this is like we wait for this for like 4 to 6 months. So now it's here. So what time is it here? It's like almost 9 o'clock. So it's probably really ready for bed, but I think I want to just, go outside just, one last time. Maybe I'll walk on the balcony, but all right, guys. So thank you. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you guys tomorrow night, same time. Sorry it's a little late, but like I said, I was enjoying some of that park time with my Rosie. So see you guys next time. And thank you for joining, and thank you for watching. If you ever have any questions or comments, please let me know, and I'll be happy to answer them. All right, guys. Have a good night. Bye. Sign.